Welcome to the new project. You can title this project Environment Project or Flag Project. What we're going to essentially do is create a little environment here with this cool sort of map texture. And then we're going to create some sort of ancient temple, sort of pyramid structure, or there's all kinds of different choices you can work on in terms of the structures. And then we're going to actually create a flag here, you can see that is got a end cloth simulation, so you can see it, the actual wind is kind of blowing it and moving around as I hit play, which is kind of cool. So I'm going to show you how to do end cloth, which is really nice. I'll show you the final renders here in Photoshop. Again, you don't have to composite in Photoshop for your final renders, but I like to use Photoshop for that purpose. And so I have here a background, HDRI background that I got off the internet. There's this great site called hdrihaven.com, which provides free HDRs, which are really nice, and it's 16K. And so I downloaded an 8K version of one of these. The one I chose was this image here, and it's much bigger than what's there. If I zoom out here, if I hit Control T, you can see how much bigger it is. It's quite large. So I rendered this image at 2048 by 1024, but I got an 8K image size of this cloud to put in the background here. So, and then I had a levels adjustment just to kind of knock down the lights a little bit, and then I added, of course, my render, and then added a little bit of adjustment to just strengthen the render itself. The other one, all I did was add a levels adjustment because it's sort of from above sort of view here. And again, you don't have to worry about bringing it into Photoshop. I can do this for you. I can sort of brighten or add a little more contrast to your images if I have to. But I just wanted to share off a couple final renders just to show you what we're going to be able to do and eventually. So in Maya here, I'm going to show you how to do this stuff. The first thing I want to share is some sites where to find some source material. So if you go to pexels.com and you can type in like pyramids in Mexico, and this is the image I worked off of here. It's not an exact duplicate of this pyramid, but it has a lot of different aspects of it in the one I chose. You could use pyramids of Egypt, would be fine also. I would find some images that are a little bit more complex, like maybe multiple pyramids working together in your scene. The other thing you could try is maybe Stonehenge or other ancient sort of environment. So you can look up different ideas and kind of come up with your own, idea. Maybe even combine them. But I'm going to start off with the Maya scene and share what I've done in here. So I actually created this ground plane and added a texture map to it by actually sculpted texture in here too. So I'm going to show you how to do that. The other thing I did was I actually created this pyramid here. Now I think it's easier to create the pyramid first and then deal with the map. But what I'm going to do before I do that is I'm going to actually draw out the plane here in this final aspect of the tutorial. And if we look at this plane that I have selected here, and if we go to the polyplane input, I didn't delete the history on here. So you can see here I have 400 divisions for the width and height, and the scale was about 134. So I'm going to kind of repeat that in here. So I'm going to turn off my ground plane layer, and I'm going to turn off my lights just so it's easier to see in here. And actually temporarily I'm going to turn off my pyramid and my flag so I have them all in layers, and we have a new scene here. So the first aspect of creating a new scene, of course, is to go to File, Project window, and create a new project. Again, I call it mine Flag Project. You can call it Environment, and then set it wherever you want, and then hit Accept, and then go File, Save Scene As, and call it a name. So this is the third version of this file I'm working on. And then after that, then you can add your ground plane. So if you go to the polygon shelf here, click on the plane, it will snap to the center here, and you can start scaling up a little bit just by grabbing the scale tool, which is over here on the side. It has the hotkey of R, if you like hotkeys. And then in the polyplane input here, we could add the divisions and the scale. So I forgot the scale of the other one. Let me just grab it one more time and click on it. So it was 134, and then I believe it was 400 and 400. Yeah, so 134. So we'll do the same thing here. We'll select this guy and then type in Well, 134. So that gives me approximately the same scales I had with the other one. And then I'm going to subdivide this now so I don't forget. Just type in here 400 and then hit enter. It's giving me this little warning here. Go ahead and click yes. Now, if your machine is a little bit slower and you're seeing some severe drag, you could reduce this number to say 200 if that's an issue for you. 400 seems to be fine on my machine. I have a pretty powerful computer, but if that's an issue, yeah, you can drop it down to 200. I'd recommend, if you can, though, go up to 400. It just better results in terms of the quality. So I'm going to bring back my back to 400, and I'll get this little warning. Just click yes. Then what you can do with this is add a new layer. So I can click on the new layer tab to the far right. We'll add it to its own new layer, and then I can double click and rename it. So I'll call this ground 2 layer. So I already have ground 1, and then I click save. And so now I'll be able to turn off visibility, which is kind of nice. So in the next tutorial, we'll get started on the actual pyramid base. Until then, see you soon in Autodesk Maya. Cheers.